Welcome to Shadows of Dawn.
Oh man, that was cold. Alright, let's get this going.
So, welcome to Shadows of Dawn. Today, I am going to go over a little D&D Beyond tutorial. Make some of your life a little bit easier, especially if you're streaming and you want your roles to kind of show up with the appropriate roles, especially when instead of using generic roles. So a lot of those kind of come in skills, and some of the ones you use the most, things like death saves, gather information, or concentration checks for spellcasters. These are skills and buttons that they actually don't have, but you can make them. And it's actually pretty easy. So we got Helios, our sorcerer here in D&D Beyond. And in order to do custom skills, you just kind of go to the bottom here of the skills manager and you click on that little guy. And you go over here in the little skills panel and drop it down and click add custom skill. Right there at the bottom, it even already throws it over there to the side for you. So what you want to do is you want to click on it. You're going to have to scroll up because you're going to have to open up the edit panel. We'll start with a real easy one. We'll start with the old death saving throw, right? So death saves, nobody's proficient. And unless you have some kind of special magical device, there's really nothing else you can do. It's pretty much a flat roll. But the nice thing about these is now that you have it here in your skill, you can just click it and I made it. Yes. So what's cool is when it comes up, it says death save. So rogues know exactly what you're thinking. You're like, oh man. And yes, absolutely you can. You can go down here to your custom skill. You can open this bad boy up and you can do open locks and / remove traps, right? And all you rogues pretty much tie it to your decks. Most rogues are proficient, and boom, some even rogues, you have expertise, right? So if you have expertise, it's going to tie it all together. And if you are a rogue, now you have a role for open locks and remove traps. Very simple. Casters, we're not going to forget about you. Definitely not. Especially this guy. This guy's not a rogue, so technically I don't have that proficiency. But as a caster, as a sorcerer, Helios here is actually a warcaster. This is where you run into one small limitation. So we go over here and we're going to say concentration check. Or concentration. It's going to say check for us. So warcasters have advantage. The one thing you cannot do, and so D&D Beyond, add this to your notes, a way to click an advantage on a custom skill or a disadvantage. That would actually be very helpful. So I'm going to just put an ADV here to remind myself that I have advantage. So concentration is tied to your con save, right? So this really needs to look just like his con save. And since he's a sorcerer, he has proficiency in con saves. So I'm going to tie it to his concentration. I am going to leave him at proficient. So it should give him a +4. And if I go over to my con save, it's also a +4. So that should give me down here at the bottom of my skill tree, concentration, and just kind of reminding myself to roll that bad boy with advantage. And boom, much better than that one. Oof. Yeah, there we go. So one of the other skills a lot of people often forget about is gathering information. So the gather information is a generic role that that is tied to your charisma, right? So why they didn't put it in the skill tree, I don't know, but maybe they just didn't want anyone to have like any particular proficiency with it. I'm not exactly sure of the reason. But all I have to do is type in, not charisma, but gather information, right? And if I tie it to my charisma, nobody's proficient, right? So get rid of that. And I have a gather information role. So if in our world, so for example, we actually tie some gather information roles. You get bonuses if you're at a certain lifestyle. So if you're lifestyle wealthy, we give you a +1 to your gather information rolls because, money talks, right? Pay a little coin. So the way you do that is you just kind of go over here to the miscellaneous bonus and just add a 1. And so that will switch it to a 4. Whereas my charisma would be a 3. And so it gives me a 4. So if I go down here, I have gather information, lifestyle, wealthy. And I toss that one out there, and ooh, man, look at that roll. I'm going to be gathering all kind of information. That was sweet. Music. So that's skills, custom skills. Adding these is super helpful, especially for you D&D Beyond players, and very easy. So there's really no reason not to do it. The next thing I want to cover is coin weight and containers. So one of the things in old D&D, we all started out trying to, micromanage things. It's like components, weight, things like that. But on pen and paper, the math just gets too crazy. Well, D&D Beyond has made managing weight and coin weight super simple if you know how to turn everything on and if you know how to do it. So the first step is going into your character sheet and making sure you use variant encumbrance. So this ties your weight directly to your strength on a smaller basis, right? So if you select variant encumbrance, it's going to do 2 things for you. The first thing is it's now going to manage your weight a lot more realistically. The second thing it does is it removes those strength requirements for any kind of armor. So even if I don't have a lot of strength and I want to put on big plate mail, I can. It's going to allow me to do it. As you get encumbrance, what happens is your speed actually starts to drop, right? So if I were to actually kind of, take off some magical boots, you see the speed's going to drop to 20 because he's encumbered. So now, how you manage your weight and where you put things makes a big difference. So there's 2 things you want to do. First one is you want to go ahead and turn on this put coins in containers. Now, if you didn't see where I clicked that, I'll show you again. You go to your inventory. You just kind of click on this top little coin line right here. It's going to pop up this manager, and up here at the top right is settings. So you click on the settings and you put coins in containers. Just make sure and turn that on. Now, what this does is this gives you a coin line at every little possible container, right? So pouches, things like that, right? So I'm going to get rid of this because I'm going to show you how to add this. How do you add a wagon to your character sheet? I'm going to show you. Ooh, guard dog's going off back there. Okay, so one of the things you can do with coins is you get these little drop downs over here when you click on any of them. So you can kind of move your coins around, right? So right now, everything's just kind of stuck in my equipment, right? Which is really just on the outside. It's really nowhere. Most people take these, so 190, 130. So if I were to take that out of my equipment, 190, 100, and 30, I'm going to remove it from there, and I'm going to put it in my backpack, right? So 190, 100, and let's say I don't want to put the 30 in there, right? Let's say I want to put that 30 down here in my pouch, right? So I'm gonna keep these coppers in the pouch, right? So I can quickly, tip a beggar or, tip somebody or pay for something, right? So now if I go back to my inventory and I look at my pouch, so my pouch has 30 copper in it and my backpack has 190 gold, 100 silver. But what's nice is all the way up at top, this is always going to give me a running total of everything I own. Super handy, running total of everything. But what's cool is, let's say I'm hoofing it across the whole town or something, right? Or maybe I'm walking out to a dungeon, right? And before I go in the dungeon, I look up and I'm like carrying, 92 pounds, right? Well, now you can just drop your backpack. By just unclicking it, all of a sudden I just shed 33 pounds. So a really quick way to manage weight, right? Some of the other things you can do, big helpful tents makes a lot of magic items actually a lot more useful, especially like boots of striding and springing. It's not just for dwarves anymore. You equip these guys, they are attunable, and by attuning it, my speed shoots right back up to 30. And that's because the boots of striding and springing don't care if you're encumbered. They still maintain your movement. So wizards, sorks, bards, everybody who sacrificed your strength Boots of Striding and Springing, unless you can pry those gauntlets of ogre power away from the fighters. Good luck, but Boots of Striding and Springing, really, really nice weight management item. So it's another way the system automatically kind of compensates and lets you deal with managed weights. So the other thing you can do with containers, which is really cool, is some of my characters in my game, they'll take a wagon specifically for weight management. They want to haul a whole bunch of treasure back to town. So the way to get a wagon or a house or anything else you want is very, very simple. What you do is you open the manage inventory, right? And you're going to just look for a chest. It's not a big deal. Just add that chest. And, DM, don't worry, because it's not going to be a chest when we're done with it. We're going to click on that chest. We're going to go to the Customize tab, and we're going to rename it Wagon. And if you want, you can override the carrying capacity, its weight, and all sorts of stuff, right? So now what I have is a wagon. So let's say I do want to go in the dungeon, but maybe I want to leave the bedroll in the wagon. So I just go to the bedroll and I move it to the wagon. And since the wagon is unchecked, this weight will never count against my character, right? So even if I'm wearing the backpack, I'm shedding weight, right? So, let's say I don't need 10 torches, right? I want to move all 10 torches to the wagon. You just see the weight just start to shift. Super handy. When I drop my backpack, it all drops again. So you can do the same thing with wagon. That some of my characters in my game, they also have houses, right? So once again, we just go to a chest and we add the chest and we find that little chest here. We click on it and we go to customize and we just name it chest at house, right? So this is a locked chest. It could be locked chest, maybe locked chest at house, right? And under the bed, whatever notes you want to put into it, right? But that's just a way of basically saying that anything I have here, let's say I left, let's say I wanted to move some torches. Or let's say I move all the torches. Let's just move all the torches to the locked chested house. Why I locked them away at home, I don't know, but I did. But another way to use containers to help manage weight. Super simple. So that's really all the time I got for today. I just wanted to go over a couple of those things with you guys, and thanks for watching. Make sure you follow our Twitch stream, and I'm going to put up some more tutorials on D&D Beyond with some other things over the coming days and weeks, months. Follow us on YouTube. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.